Hi and welcome to this update for the ELMS for farmers and land managers. My name's Ian McDonald. I'm going to give you a quick 5-minute update on where we're at in terms of the new payment scheme for farmers. So as we enter the agricultural transitional period, which will see the loss of the BPS in 2027 with no replacement. This will have a massive impact on a number of farms as they look to secure their farm income by using the BPS. As part of the transitional period, looking at closing the existing agri-environment scheme, which includes the countryside stewardship scheme, and from that point we will be looking at what will fill the gap in between the countryside stewardship scheme and ELMS starting. Schemes such as the farming in protected landscapes are available, and we are currently working with a number of national parks and the AONB on some of their ideas for this. The new approach will look at certain aspects of supporting agriculture, farming regulation and enforcement, farming productivity and prosperity, and the final element around the environmental land management scheme. This will be supported with other initiatives such as the lump sum exit scheme, which will allow older farmers and those not wishing to continue to consider leaving the industry. So ELMS, there's 3 tiers to this: sustainable farming incentive, local nature recovery, landscape recovery. The aims of all of these tiers are to provide or help to provide, move towards providing clean and plentiful water, clean air, thriving plants, along with mitigation of adaptation of climate change. This chart shows the timeline that we are expected to be working towards. As you can see there are a number of timelines that have been come and gone. So for example, in terms of local nature recovery, there are some deadlines that have passed, and we'll touch on to that briefly in a moment or two. Landscape recovery is the next big scheme that DEFRA will be working on. We've recently received an update from DEFRA on the Sustainable Farming Incentive. 8 standards make up this incentive, from arable and horticultural soils through to hedgerows, improved grasslands and soils, and water body buffering. There are 3 levels of ambition for this incentive: introductory, intermediate and advanced. And this allows the farmers, land managers to be selective as to which level they go into, and dictates their ambition levels. At the point of expressions of interest for the pilot scheme, 2,000 farmers applied to become part of the pilot scheme and to help co-design this incentive. Currently, DEFRA have about 930 farmers that are likely to be involved. DEFRA's aim is to look at getting 70% of farmers in the scheme by 2028. They're also keen to allow private finance to be partnered with government funding. Payment ranges are there on the bottom of the slide, and will reflect the amount of work that a farmer would need to do to achieve those payments within those ambition levels. This slide illustrates the proposed pipeline for getting the SFI to life status. Currently, on the top row, DEFRA are working on the arable and horticultural soils measure, along with the improved grassland soils and the moorland and rough grazing. This is in the pilot phase of the scheme, with the aspiration of getting to the live point in 2024. Moving on to the next level, local nature recovery. There is very little to say about this tier at the moment. but it's likely to follow the higher level stewardships schemes under agri-environment schemes and countryside stewardship. There was meant to be an announcement around this in November. DEFRA changed it through to autumn and then on to December, and still there's nothing yet. Expect something in January. Other than that, the details are very scant. So that's local nature recovery. The final tier, landscape recovery, is based on addressing objectives of the nature recovery strategies through to the 25-year plan, DEFRA 25-year plan, and looking to see how green financing can help fund these schemes as well in partnership with the government funding. Land that can be entered into these agreements will range from 500 hectares up to 5,000 hectares, and this land needs to be contiguous. This contiguous land doesn't need to be protected. It's open for any land and landowner out there. This also includes any public bodies or organisations that have land in their control. The only stipulation is that they must enter into agreement with a private landowner to enter into the landscape recovery tier. The pilot process was due to open in autumn 2021. We've still not had that window open yet, and so that's likely to be in 2022. Once that application process opens up, it will be quickly followed by the development of the projects with the landowners. Looking to have those projects to go live towards the end of 2022. These agreements are likely to be 20 years plus, so DEFRA are keen to maximise the outputs from this tier. And one other notable part of the agreements is if common land is entered into that, rather than having multiple agreements with different landowners, the common land will be managed under a single agreement. So for now, that's as much as we know. There are more details coming through later this week. If you want any more information, please do get in touch. Thank you.